Apply the physical soap framework. Step 4, progress, is this 4th step in our soap framework to supersize and grow your business now. Or now apply the soap framework to step 4 to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Today we're talking about, of course, step 4 of our process. And we're thinking about how do we know if we're making progress or not? I gotta adjust that. How do we know if we're filling the gap between where we are and where we want to be? Now, we set an intention. We picked something, an area, usually a challenge area. That is where I apply the SOAP framework, that we want to improve. We identified it. We brainstormed options. We select one of those options. We took action yesterday. At least I'm hoping you took action yesterday. I did. But how do I know if the action that I took is helping me move from where I am to where I want to be? Is it? And I'm not expecting one action, one day of one action to move me from where I am to where I want to be, right? Once in a couple of times in our lifetime, we will actually do something like that. And we will have something like that happen and show up in our life, and we'll think it's absolutely miraculous, because it kind of is. It just means everything was aligned and set up, and we were ready to receive and ready to have that thing happen already. So by opening ourselves up to receiving it, all of a sudden it just shows up in our life. But those things don't happen all the time. Now, I am in some communities and groups on the school platform right now that are to help us be more flowing and be more open and have more manifestations and more things show up in our lives a lot more easily, instead of us blocking them and preventing them from happening. Woo-woo stuff, which I absolutely love. But we're not going to talk about that today, because we're talking about how do we supersize and grow your business. Well, the SOAP framework is one of those ways to do it, because we have now a problem-solving, decision-making tool, a framework that we can use and apply to just about anything in our business, especially physical things and things that are easy to measure. How do we measure that? How do we know if we are filling that gap? How do we know that we're making progress? Again, progress, not perfection, toward what it is that we have decided we want in the thing that we take action on. A lot of times I'll take an action and I will have no idea whether it worked or not, right? Depending on what the action is. I did take an action. It did work. I hired somebody to help me organize my life. And the way we can measure that is I will take before pictures and work with her on that, but I will not show anyone else. I'm sorry. It's embarrassing, because it's very me, but that doesn't mean that's what I want to show the world. So before and after pictures are a great way to measure whether you're making progress or not. We do that in real estate projects all the time. We'll take pictures of how things are before, when they're terrible and broken. And then as we make progress throughout the repairs, now we have a timeline and a story of us making progress. But it's really fun to go back and look at the beginning sometimes, and then at the end, and see how far we've actually come. We can do that with a lot of things. We can do it with weight loss. Weight loss is one of those things that people do before and after pictures all the time. We can do before and after pictures of our lifestyle. We can do before and after pictures of all kinds of things. But they work really, really well in our business, because they're a terrific way to communicate to other people in our organization that transformation is indeed possible and probable and likely if we take steps to move in the direction that we want to go. So what is our action item today? We are going to share in the comments below, how are we going to measure the physical area and aspect that we're applying the SOAP framework to? How are we going to measure and know that we're filling that gap when we take action? Now, a lot of times when I'm solving a problem or doing something like this in my business, I will take an action. I won't know if it's worked or not, but then I'll take another action. And that makes it even a little trickier to track what's working and what's not. But if we document and if we find a way to measure each of those impacts, we can actually decipher and tell what's working and what's not working. There's so many things that we can measure physically that it's pretty easy. But I'm a big fan of before and after pictures. I used it in corporate America. When I did audits, I would do quality audits of in the food industry for a lot of different businesses that we had as suppliers to us and that we were suppliers for. And I would go around and I would take pictures of things that needed to be fixed, right? That were not, I want to say kosher, but that's not the right word, that were not as they should be in a place where we're making things that people put in their body. So I'm a huge believer in that. I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. And when you show somebody a picture of what's going on in their department, even the most adversarial of folks really don't argue with you, because they know that it's a violation of something, or it's just a bad manufacturing practice and that it should be fixed and repaired, right? So what will you do today to measure so that you know with some certainty that you are making progress? Share in the comments below so we can learn from one another different ways of measuring. And I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. So have an absolutely amazing day.